The fact that Larry Fink got orange pilled and believes in it is the single biggest thing that happened for it this year, just because he has such clout. BlackRock touches so many places, right? We're going to compete against them in the ETF. But think about it now, we've got Invesco with us, BlackRock, Wisdom Tree, Fidelity. Pretty soon you're going to have 9 sales forces selling the Bitcoin story. The SEC, I think, will approve this in the next 10 days, 2 weeks. Jan 10th is kind of a cutoff date because of a lawsuit they had with Grayscale. It looks like there's not going to be in-kind distribution, which is not the best thing. It'll be more interesting from a trading perspective, but every other ETF seems to have in-kind. And so Gensler's still trying to gum up the works a little bit.
Today, we have Galaxy Digital CEO Mike Novogratz giving us an update on the crypto market, the Bitcoin ETF, and why BlackRock is playing a much bigger role in 2024 than any other institutional investor. Novogratz believes that the coming bull run will be unlike anything we've seen in recent history. The SEC's imminent approval of the BlackRock Bitcoin ETF application is signaling a massive surge of capital about to come into the space. Bitcoin is currently sitting just below $42,000, up over 11% just in the last month. We've seen many rapid cryptocurrency price rises in the last few weeks, and no doubt investors are eagerly anticipating at least one ETF approval, which will bring massive capital pouring into crypto. Novogratz points out that just 1% of BlackRock's portfolio will open this floodgate to the tune of hundreds of billions of dollars in institutional capital. When this happens, he says we'll witness a 400% increase in Bitcoin alone, targeting a $150,000 price in just 6 months' time. The Bitcoin halving coincides with the timeline for this price, so we could see the biggest crypto surge yet in just a matter of months. Let's get right into the latest interview with Mike Novogratz as he gives us his crypto price predictions and timeline for Bitcoin and what we can expect in the days and weeks ahead.
I always say Bitcoin is a report card on good economic stewardship. If we took our deficit from our spending from 25% to 20% and our deficit from 6% to 0, Bitcoin would be lower, not higher. And gold would be lower, not higher. And so I don't see our government, the European governments, almost any government getting away from what I call populism. And Satoshi saw that when he wrote the Bitcoin white paper. The white paper was literally like a cure to populism. And that's what the core of Bitcoin is. It's a social construct between two people that says, I'm going to put my hard-earned savings in this system, this community of people who are governed by this constitution in a fixed supply currency. So in Bitcoin, why it's so exciting, and I have a lot more Bitcoin than I do gold, certainly vol adjusted, I have 10 times as much. It's such a new asset, and it's like a virus that's just starting to spread. The adoption of this idea that Bitcoin is a store of value is going straight up. What I think people miss, and I talked a lot about this in 2017 when we had our first mania, is that crypto was really the first ever global speculative mania. We never had a global market. You had a couple stocks that were traded globally, but if you go back and you look at the 99 internet bubble, like you didn't have anyone in Korea participating, anyone in India participating, anyone in Russia participating, anyone in Africa participating. Crypto is global. And just like I'm telling the Bitcoin story on CNBC and Bloomberg and on podcasts here in New York, there's someone in a village in Indonesia telling that story. And the viral nature of 8 billion people getting more converts every day is really hard to stop. The other piece of this is Bitcoin exists within a movement called, you can call it crypto or decentralization. And that movement touches people in a way because it feels like it's a revolution. It's a revolution of saying, I want to cut out the middleman. I want to trust in myself. I want to have peer-to-peer transaction. I want to have more efficiency, equal access. So there's this, I think, progressive, but it's half progressive, half libertarian ethos that people buy into. And so you've seen it in the Ethereum community or in all these other communities that have showed up. What's been disappointing is outside of payments, not in the US, but out in Mideast, Africa, Latin America, crypto is used a lot for payments, stable coins mostly. The core next mission, the Web3 mission, the decentralized trading, the decentralized rideshare, the decentralized ticketing, hasn't really shown up yet. Some green shoots, it's taking longer than I thought for those projects to get scale. So put it in perspective, I would argue that Bitcoin, which is $1 trillion asset after 14 years, might be the single greatest brand ever created. Right? We created Tesla's close and Apple's up there. We created in 14 years, $1 trillion brand that doesn't have a CEO, that's owned by no one, that's universally known. It's, it's marketing genius. And if you look at Apple from its 14th year to its 30th year, I wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin takes a bigger trajectory. Things spread virally, but it doesn't happen overnight.
Embracing an unyielding enthusiasm for the crypto realm, Novogratz confidently predicts that explosive growth is looming on the horizon, as BlackRock and many other crypto giants are doing just that. Novogratz reassures that a long-expected surge awaits, leading up to the highly anticipated 2024 halving event for Bitcoin.
Retail is surprisingly invested and continues to invest. We have one client, so we don't deal with retail direct, but we deal with the institutional clients that deal with them. And so all the platform companies, the PayPals, the Squares, those of the world who have these wallets that collect money, and we do some of the trading for some of those companies. And there's one alone that between what they do with us and their two other trading counterparties buys more Bitcoin every day than is mined. So the whole mining supply is swallowed up by one app in the US every day. That's the global mining supply. And so one of the reasons I think Bitcoin has a shot of parabolic is this. There are 8 billion people out there, a couple, 250 million people own a Bitcoin or some piece of a Bitcoin. As that goes a little more viral, those small checks add up immensely. We are seeing institutions come in. We're seeing hedge funds buy with our trading desk for the first time in a long time, the last couple months. I talked to one of my friends who's got a big decentralized platform. He said he saw volume double and then double again in the last 2 months. And so that's more retail online. Most institutions are still buying futures because it's simpler and they can call their prime broker and they will switch to the ETF. I think the ETF will have a dominant amount of liquidity in Bitcoin, and then we'll have an Ethereum one. And that'll make it so much easier for the institutional capital to come in. The SEC, I think, will approve this in the next 10 days, 2 weeks. Jan 10th is kind of a cutoff date because of a lawsuit they had with Grayscale. There's not going to be in-kind distribution, which is not the best thing. It'll be more interesting from a trading perspective, but every other ETF seems to have in-kind. And so Gensler's still trying to gum up the works a little bit.
The crypto market is poised for a meteoric surge in prices. He illustrates Bitcoin's current undervaluation, drawing in investors and enticing speculators eager to ride the waves of September's price fluctuations in pursuit of profits. Novogratz's outlook is fueled by the impending wave of mass adoption, which he believes presents an unparalleled opportunity to get in on the action. He sees the race toward a six-figure price target set to unfold in just under a year. What's more, he highlights the intriguing historical pattern of Bitcoin's value surging 10x with each halving event, hinting that 2024 could catapult Bitcoin from $10,000 to an unbelievable $100,000. He asserts that the promises made by the Federal Reserve and central banks have been hollow, leading to excessive money printing and a proliferation of poor investments. And with the aftermath of the recent inflation surge, Novogratz says this will not lead to a return to the status quo. He argues that the economy has spun out of control, with the US facing a mounting debt crisis. Kaiser presents two bleak possibilities: hyperinflation or a deflationary depression. In either scenario, the overall quality of life deteriorates. He notes the absence of viable solutions, indicating an even greater severity of the crisis. Interestingly, he points out how political figures are discussing Bitcoin as part of a potential solution, marking a shift towards a Bitcoin-centric financial framework. What do you think about Mike Novogratz's prediction for Bitcoin, the crypto market cap, as well as the institutional capital pouring into the space? Comment down below. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more content just like this. We'll see you in the next video.